So here we are, September 29th of 2022. You can see we've had a big CME, big blast come off on this side over here. We'll let that loop play a couple of times real quick, and then we'll start going through it frame by frame here. And we'll so here's this big blast coming off over here. Boom, huge blast with what looks like a little object in there. So let's pan down here, and we're going to pause it right about here. Over here you can see here's our object coming out, here's our instrument reacting to it right here, and this one's coming out at a strange little angle, so we'll kind of click forward through this. Then we have a second little CME kind of catch up to it. Here's our object right here. I'm going to zoom in on this object just real quickly, just so you guys can see this. Here's our round object right here, causing the CME. It's all draped in plasma. Okay, then as we continue out, going on, then another CME comes out and drapes over it. Now here, let's go back a frame. Right there. So on the black side, black and white side, we'll zoom in over here. Okay, here's our black little round core, our little object right here, draped in all this plasma. Then, as we go over to the red side, over here, see if I can scroll down and possibly zoom in on this without blinding the camera. Maybe we'll tilt this up a little bit, get a little darker. Over here, you can see here's our object. It's caused a dent in this big CME. This should be all nice and round, but there's a curvature right here, and here's our round object. It has plasma draping around the front of it and all the way on the back of it, painting this round object right there. Let's see if we can get it to come in just a little bit better so you guys can see it there. Alright, so there's our object right there. We'll go back a frame. And there's a good shot of it. Here's the curvature on the back side of it. Here's plasma around the front of it, painting our round black object right here. Then I'm going to try to put this back down. There we go. Now we can see it there. Here's our object. Like I said, there's the curvature right here. This should be all round. This plasma should have a round face right here, but there's a giant dent in it. And then it's round on the front, and that's because here's our object right here causing the CME. So as I back out a little bit, you can see it. We'll go back a frame, a couple frames, and then go forward again. And you can see how this plasma comes out, drapes over it, and then this object moves out and passes on. This right here is the little clump of plasma that's on the back side of that object as it takes it out. So we'll back up just a little bit more. You can see it right there. Okay, so here comes the plasma draping around it. And then our little plasma trailing behind it. Okay. So I'll pull back a little bit more. Let's see if we can see it from this way. Back up a little bit. Whoops, went the wrong direction. Back it up just a little bit here to where alright, boom. Right there, this little dark patch right here. It doesn't show up too well over on the black and white side. Pan back, go forward and backward just a little bit more for you so you can see it. Okay. Go back up just a little bit to this one frame again, right here. Whoops, this frame right here. One more time, we're going to come over here and zoom in on this so you can see that this object has put a dent in this CME right here. See if I pull it up a little bit, you guys can see it better. So yeah, there's a big dent on the backside, or on the backside of this object right here is putting a big dent in this big plasma ball, and then there's a bubble on the front, which is the front side of this object. Here's our black object right there, perfectly painted, just as I was describing, perfectly painted by these CMEs that drape over it. So there's that one right there, and that was today's. Then I didn't do a report for last night, so let's go back and check out the 28th while we're here. And while that's loading up, you'll see we've had a couple more CMEs here. It's just spitting out all kinds of CMEs here. And these are what normal CMEs are supposed to look like. These are some normal ones for a change. Here's one with an object right here at the very end, and that's the very first frames of the 29th, or the very first frames of the event that took place on the 29th right here at the very end of the 28th right there. So you can see the sun's been really active. It's been spitting out all kinds of CMEs, all kinds of objects, you know, interacting with the sun, multiple objects at a time, multiple days in a row. So the activity on the sun's really picking up, and with that latest capture that we had, the perfect capture of this round object here. But you can see that the sun here the day before yesterday was still quite active, and this is during, you know, this was during the hurricane and everything. All this activity was going on our sun. So let me back out of this one real quick, go back to the 29th here, and we'll close out with this one image here. If we can capture it again, back up a few frames. Yeah, right here. This is, and it's a good capture over here on the red side. This red side really paints this object pretty well. You can see here's our round black object again, and here's, you know, it's put a dent in this CME. This big plasma bubble right here has this awesome dent in it right here, and then a front side to it. So here's our object draped in plasma. Captured again. And I believe there's more than one object, and you know, here we captured it again on this instrument, or captured another object causing a CME. And this one's a nice beautiful image right there of classic CME draping over these objects here. Let me just go back a frame here and zoom in on this one too real quick. So these two frames right here, that one and that one, then you can still see, here's our object. See this little band of plasma? This actually catches up to it and passes over the object as it's going out. Here's that band of plasma going across it. Here's the back side of that object right here. So back up a little bit. You can see how that plasma came out and draped and went straight over that object and past it as it moved out. Okay, that's it for tonight, you guys. Let me leave you with this image right here. Boom. Yeah. And I'll try to remember to put the link in the description of this so you guys can come over to this instrument and check out these images yourself. Okay, that's it for tonight. I love you all. God bless you all. And until my next video, bye.